I'm here again to bring you guys more madness that's going on in the world. And I'm sure you guys might be tired of it, but I have to show you guys the nonsense that's been going on. But before we get into the video, like the video as much as possible, subscribe to the YouTube channel, hit the notification bell so that you know when one of my videos come out. And let's get into the video.
Hey guys, it's Fleckas. This week we're at the Pride Parade in West Hollywood. We're going to ask some questions about some stuff and see what people say. Where's the message of the day?
Love everyone, accept everyone for who they are, their differences, their inequalities, like just tolerance and love and acceptance. That's
totally
what Pride is all about.
I think Pride is important because it fosters unity, it fosters acceptance and love, to accept without discrimination.
What we can offer here in Los Angeles is a friendly and forward-thinking city.
It's very inclusive for all. There's children here, there's people of all colors here. They say actually God loves everybody, so that's nice. Except for when I whip out my Trump hat or when I talk about Trump, there is no love there. That's the only thing. So you're tolerant and you're inclusive if you agree with them. If you don't, if you voted for Trump, if you're not a Hillary lover, you're out.
What do you think about Donald Trump in general?
If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all.
That's a good way to do it. What do you think about Donald Trump?
Fuck Trump.
What do you think of Donald Trump?
Him. Oh God.
Oh my days. This is absolutely hilarious, and I feel like at this point I'm speechless, but I'm not really speechless because I'm not surprised by what they're saying. And I say this in a lot of my videos, that I'm surprised but not surprised at the same time, which would kind of be an oxymoron because you can't be surprised and not surprised at the same time. But I know people understand what I mean when I say that. But the amount of cognitive dissonance you would have to go through to say that you're inclusive, you love everyone, love for everybody should be accepted, and then a few minutes later you're saying F someone, and apparently now you hate this certain person, yet you also say you should love everyone and accept everyone's differences. How does that even make sense? Now I'm asking this as a rhetorical question because we all know the answer to that question, and it's because they only love people who agree with what they say, just as a woman who spoke a few minutes ago said.
Die, honestly. Tolerance and love and acceptance.
For the most part, people have been really welcoming, really fun, really exciting, but logically, they fall a little bit short when it comes to ideas of truth or standards that they set.
This is my pretty side.
And it is
my George Clooney side.
At least you have a good side. I just got two bad sides. Who is like the #1 enemy of the LGBTQ community right now? And what can we do to raise more awareness for the community itself?
Well, you know what? I think a lot of people are still against these kind of events.
What do you think the #1 opponent of the LGBTQ community is at this point?
I would say the Trump administration, as well as, I'd say pretty much.
Do you think Islam at all?
Islam, I think, is against the entire American society. I don't think that they're necessarily targeting the gay community.
You genuinely cannot make any of this up. You would genuinely usually see the nonsense we are seeing in episodes of South Park, but this is actually happening in real life where people are genuinely saying the nonsense that these people are saying. And he asked a very, very good question. What about Islam? Because if you know about Islam and their ideology and what they do in Islamic countries, which I won't mention on this video, and I'm sure she also knows because of the answer and the way she answered that question, she answered it like a politician. They're against America, and this is what the woke do. They can't speak against certain groups because they don't want to offend certain groups. Even if that group is completely against their lifestyle, they'll bring up a politician-like answer like they're just against America and not actually answer the question that he asked.
She talks to them about Donald Trump. I don't think they know anything. They mostly go off based off what they hear.
What are some things that Trump has done to the gay community that you think is something we should be worried about?
I think everything. I mean, he's pretty much against us. You know, he thinks that we have no rights, that we need to go back to be discriminated and even prosecuted for, you know, just being gay. I think.
Where are you seeing that though? What are some things that he's done to do that?
Well, you know, it's like. By taking rights, you know, he actually got rid of some of the, I can't remember exactly now.
What are some things that the Trump administration has done to target the LGBTQ community, and what are some ways we can fight back?
I would say by reversing pretty much everything that has gone on that has brought us forward since the Obama administration. I think that's what's brought us back from there, and what could bring us forward.
What do you mean by reverse? What did you mean by that? Reverse what was done so far?
Oh gosh, I just got...
A lot of people I know who are Trump supporters are gay and are, they do like the Pride events, and unfortunately it gets very politicized. Are you seeing similar things?
I absolutely do, because I know a lot of Trump supporters that are gay also, and they just live their life normally like a normal person. They don't go around with assless chaps and leather pants, and they don't make it their identity. And I think that the problem is a lot of people here, that's their whole identity, is to be this gay person, this flamboyant person wearing a feather boa, and it actually draws more attention to them than just kind of living like a normal life like a gay person.
A lot of people I've spoken to today are kind of bringing politics into Pride a lot and have some issues with the Trump administration.
I hope there's an accident and he may not survive.
I'm very pro-LGBT. I'm very pro-trans. That there is no doubt about that. But also, I think that us as gay people should focus on exactly on what is beneficial for us. And if we go just around screaming, "Oh, the president is bad," blah blah blah, that is just not okay. Because why? Because Trump is pro-gay and all that stuff. I disagree with a lot of politics that he's done, etc. But I also agree with things that he's done that are beneficial for USA and beneficial for gays. So I'm just not gonna be one of those ignorant people going around screaming boo Trump and stuff, when there is actually good things that are going on right now for gay people thanks to him.
The message here is pretty progressive. I think if you actually talk a lot to the homosexuals here, they certainly do have a progressive ideology, but at the same time, I think Steven Pinker said this, progressives are actually regressive. So when it comes to them, they're only progressive in the sense that they want rights basically, or more rights than everybody else, but they're very aggressive when it comes to someone who doesn't support their message. So even if you say you're against homosexuality, but you still want them to have rights, they are not going to be progressive towards you. They are actually, the whole message of equality is going to get thrown right out the window, and they are going to attack you no matter what.
It's not just about gay, it's about sexual gay. Everyone on the floats, if you've been watching, they've been all sexual and shimmying and everything, and naked sailors and whatnot. So I think it's more about this sexualized culture, and it's almost kind of sexualizing young children. That's my take on it. I think it's a little too much. And why not celebrate gay without celebrating sexuality? There's people with their butt cheeks hanging out. I think it's a little inappropriate to bring your kids here, but they're all about it.
You know what? I think what it is that a lot of people grew up in the Midwest or in different states that I'm coming across that were often hated, or they were ostracized, or they were discriminated against for identifying in the LGBTQIA plus community. But what's happening is I talked to one person that told me specifically, I go, in your community, aren't you all about people being fluid and having the right to do what they want with their things, their body, and their life? So why does a baker not have the right to do what they want with their skills, their bakery, and their cakes? And people couldn't answer that question, but just like they were against Donald Trump and Mike Pence without having any policies to actually come against, people had said, I'm against those bakers, when in reality, by supporting the Supreme Court decision, you're actually supporting LGBTQ rights, because you're supporting individuals to express themselves the way that they see fit and morally right.
What the bakers did falls under the principle of freedom of association. So the bakers who didn't want to bake a cake for the gays, I mean, they didn't make the gays worse off. They never had a cake to begin with. And in a capitalist society, and especially a free market, they could take their business somewhere else, and the baker who didn't bake the cake isn't studying any worse off, but he may get the backlash of what's to come.
You're a business, you're doing business for the public, you should do it for everybody.
Absolutely. What do you do for work?
I work at Starbucks, but I'm also a special effects makeup artist and costume design on the side.
Very cool, I can see that. What would you do if Donald Trump came into your Starbucks today?
Probably lose my job, because I would jump over that counter and beat him.
I kid you not. As I said, this is not a South Park episode. This is not a skit. These people are not actors. They are genuinely real people in real life, in real time, who are saying these things, and they genuinely mean it. But then they're the same people to say that they're inclusive.
I'll probably lose my job, because I would jump over that counter and beat him. You're a business, you're doing business for the public, you should do it for everybody.
What does your sign say?
My sign, I have two signs. It says Happy Ramadan on one side, Muslims against hate on the other.
Very cool. I think that's a powerful message, and I hope people take it seriously. What do you think the number one threat to the LGBTQ community is?
I think it's organized religion, and that sucks. And there's nothing against organized religion when people's personal beliefs fight others people's personal beliefs. That's not something that we're not used to, but it's the hate piece of it that really pulls people apart and that breaks souls and breaks hearts. That's really what we're kind of up against, is the hate piece of all of it.
Totally agree. Are you referring to Islam?
No, not at all. I think that it's not necessarily specific religions. It's their...
Oh my days, this is absolutely hilarious. I have to give it up to Fleckers for the questions he's asking, because it throws them completely off track and they get completely confused because it's not in their programming to answer such a question. Because if you've read a little bit about Islam, you know they're completely against everything the ABCD community stands for, and she knows it because of the way she's answering the question. They don't want to offend the Muslim community, which is absolutely hilarious to see the cogs turning in their heads when he asks her this question.
Organization of what they believe these people to be like.
If Hillary had her way, she would have brought over 500,000 refugees here. That was her plan right away. Refugees in Boys Town don't mix. I promise you that.
People also don't really have very positive impressions of Muslims, so we're here to show that Muslims are queer too, and Muslims are against hate, and Muslims are American like everybody else.
Absolutely, I totally agree with you. When it comes to the bad impression people do have of Muslims because of maybe some situations in the Middle East, Saudi Arabia, what are some ways we can kind of combat that preconceived notion, and what is the truth behind what's really going on?
I can't speak much about what's going on over there. I would say that a lot of times people use religion to push a political agenda, and religion is not political, actually. And so whatever's happening in the Middle East is actually not really indicative of the faith. What was your first question?
Do you think when it comes to the Muslim faith, Islam kind of is a theocracy in a way in a lot of these countries, and it is kind of trying to play a more political role. Do you think there's any room for that here? Do you think we have to be careful with the people we let in from these countries? How does that work?
I think this country was actually founded upon letting immigrants in, and our borders are open. And I do disagree with religion playing a role in any government. So I agree with the theocracy going on, but I don't think the faith calls for things like that.
Do you think gays are well received in these countries, though?
I think that is yet to be proven.
Yeah, I'm gonna end it right there because that video right there was possibly one of the most interesting videos I've made in a long time. Just like the Trojan horse, the ABCD community and the woke community are destroying the very community that they live in. And it's actually hilarious to see how oblivious they are of the whole situation and what's going on in the world and to their own communities, that they would allow the enemy to come in and they believe that they would embrace them. But anyway, that was another video. If you guys enjoyed the video, like the video as much as possible, comment down below, subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow me on Instagram and Twitter at YinkaThatGuy, and I am out.